Hey guys, welcome to our channel. We are here to discuss a very interesting match that happened yesterday, which was between RCB and CSK, the sudden derby clash, the El Clasico. It used to be earlier, but now for the last 2.5 years, it's been RCB who has been the superior team out of the two. Probably MS Dhoni going off is starting to show signs because CSK hasn't been able to manufacture a victory in the last 5 games or 4 games, if I'm not wrong, guys. I think a string of 4 consecutive wins for RCB against CSK.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
starting since the 2024
Yeah,
second game
2024 second game. So yeah,
it was Bangalore.
so four
Yeah.
games, 4 consecutive games, right? So I'll quickly go through the
Yeah.
match summary. Obviously, CSK won the toss, thought that it's better to chase on this particular wicket, and rightly so because obviously the wicket was a pretty sticky wicket. Even the outfield was not that fast. You could see that in the first over itself, Phil Saul hitting or trying to hit a four. It didn't reach the boundary, right? So these things did happen. In the end, obviously, RCB posted 250 for 3 in 20 overs. And obviously, the man of the moment would be Tim David, hitting those monster sixes, one of them being 106 meters uh, straight going into the Cubbon Park region over mid wicket. So, yeah, that was it. In response, obviously, I personally felt that CSK batted well. Though there were a few moments where you felt that RCB was a little lazy in terms of their bowling efforts because they knew that they have already won the game. But yeah, CSK overall batted well. Sarfaraz 50 of 25. Prashant Veer played well, 43 of 29. Jemmy Overturn again hitting those sixes and fours. And even Anshul Kamboj for that matter scored a decent 19 of 12 with one boundary and one six. So yeah, overall a decent game. Though personally, I felt that RCB was a bit lazy in their bowling efforts. They leaked a lot of runs than they should have, considering that they took I think 3 wickets in the first 3 to 4 overs. So yeah, that's my review of it. What do you guys say?
Yeah, go for it.
I think with regards to how CSK started with their bowling, they made a massive improvement from their previous games. They stuck to like this sort of uniform line and length where they're consistently sort of pitching it on neither too short, neither like too in the slot. So it's sort of had the RCB batters in a like situation where they were struggling to time the ball cleanly, and um, on another day that same RCB team could be 30 for 3 within the first 3 overs. However, I don't think it just was to be for them today. It was just
I
the
think
way,
Shivam Dubey helped a lot, right? Dropping those
yeah,
catches.
Yeah, let's not bring Dubey in as yet, but yeah, he definitely helped them a lot. Yeah, the 2 overs, I think, yeah, I think he gave away a little bit of the momentum in the field, and yeah, with the ball, obviously, yeah. Shivan Dubey did help a bit, but again, it's a collective bowling sort of thing.
What was
Yeah.
Dubey's figures? I'm trying to analyze what were Dubey figures.
1 for 30.
Shivam
He
Dubey,
got
2 overs,
again,
30 runs,
fair.
1 wicket.
Go.
Actually, I was a little surprised because Simon Dool said that he bowled well in the World Cup, and I was like, what? Because he didn't bowl well in the World Cup. I don't know what he was saying. He took 1 wicket as well.
Ask that same question to Jofra Archer and he'll have different answers.
He actually got Phil Saul out of
Yeah.
it. So again, what were the top moments for you guys, or the turning points in your opinion? Harishankar, you can go
Yeah,
first.
I can take. Yeah, I can go for it. So in the first innings, I think, as Aniket pointed out, it was the bowling. I think we started off well. The first 4 overs were like, yeah, we were trying to get them frustrated, but obviously, knowing the pitch, the batters just need a bit of time to get the blitz going. So I think that was one turning point. I think the first turning point was Kohli starting the aggression. You know, as soon as he understood what the wicket's doing, like I felt that was a good move. And obviously, Shivan Dubey dropping the catch of Kohli. I'm not going to go into further detail. Obviously, that didn't make a huge impact in terms of the run scoring, but yeah, that could have set the tone for CSK early on. You know, if they had got that, I felt Padikkal coming in early when the wicket's sticky would have made it tough for him. But obviously, he came in when the wicket was doing well. that was one moment. The other moment was Rajat Patidar. I mean, the way he's amassed himself as a he had a reputation of being a spin hitter, but I feel he's just a big hitter in general. He can smack pace, smack spin as well, and CSK's bowlers didn't know where to bowl to him, and I think his strike rate was around 250 as well. So, given that, which is expected of the Chinnaswamy, I think that was pretty good. But other than that, I think Patidar's coming in, and obviously David Padikkal, playing his bit again, looks really in good touch, and he did his bit. Obviously, his wicket was key, but again, we never expected Tim David to come and do that to our bowlers. Like, that was genuinely embarrassing. But yeah, that was again the wicket got a bit more predictable later on. So I think it's with the way how the wicket played. Obviously, it did favour the batters a bit more later on in the 6th, 7th over when RCB was struggling to put on a score. But yeah, I felt these two coming in, when they needed to get a blitz going, I think that's what changed the match and took the game out of CSK's hands.
Okay. Aniket, what about you?
I think in terms of the first innings, up until the 11th over, RCB were around 98.
Exactly. 98 for 2.
And Phil Salt had just fell the over before, or maybe like in recent. And the thing that Hari said with Rajat Patidar, I think that was sort of the standout, that Rajat Patidar sort of decided that he's going to go no matter what, die by the sword. It worked for him. Patidar sort of passed that on into Padikkal as well, who sort of followed suit, got himself a 50, and then eventually the whole last sort of few overs with Tim David as well. I think a good thing with this RCB team in general, considering the one last year as well, they sort of are coordinated with themselves as a group. So they sort of were like, yeah, you know what? We'll follow this example. We'll bat like this. And it paid dividends. They got 250.
I think you're pretty... okay, yeah, go ahead.
And a second sort of moment that I would like to point out, probably in the second innings, was just the bowling changes that RCB made were sort of, especially at a time when they had momentum. They were at 165, I think, CSK. And just then sort of bringing on
Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
that bull, Prashant V out.
I think that was Bhuvi, was it?
It's Bhuvneshwar Kumar,
Bhuvi,
right?
or was it Duffy?
It was
Bhuvneshwar
Kumar.
Yeah, I think Bhuvi got the wicket,
Yeah, so for me personally, I felt like, again, as Aniket pointed out, 98 for 2 at 11 overs. At the 11 over mark, RCB was kind of struggling a bit because, again, even 200, 220 is not safe at Chinnaswamy. So what I felt was, if you remember the 12th over, the first ball, actually the 12th over was bowled by Noor Ahmed. And the first ball, Rajat Patidar was facing him and he smashed him inside out over covers for a 6. So that's not an easy shot to play. And that kind of was the turning moment for me, because after that, obviously, Rajat Patidar scored a 6 in that over. Then Devdutt Padikkal also scored a 6 going down the ground. The next over was bowled by a fast bowler. I don't remember the fast bowler. But yeah, again, Rajat Patidar scored a 6 and then Devdutt Padikkal also scored a 6 in the same over. So that kind of changed the momentum altogether. The other one was obviously Tim David getting bowled by Anshul Kamboj, and then obviously it being a no ball. I think these two were the classic moments wherein you felt as if like it's RCB's day, because again, once Tim David got going, you knew that, even as I said like before as well, I felt as if like in the 11 overs mark, if you're scoring 98 for 2 and then you're getting to 250 for 3, you still feel as if like you were 25 to 30 runs below what you should have done, considering that you didn't go hard enough in the first 11 overs. Right, so I personally felt that those two moments were pretty, I would say like they were match-changing moments for me. The best moment, however, would not be a Tim David bowled and then getting it to a no ball, or probably a Rajat Patidar smashing 48 of 19. It would be Jitesh Sharma catching off Shivam Dube when they were 108 for 5 and 9.5 overs. Make no mistake, CSK only lost by 43 runs, and again, I personally felt as if like Shivam Dube, if he would have got going, because Krunal Pandya's last over was pretty expensive, but the first 2 overs were pretty decent for him. Right, so Shivam Dube could have changed the game. And then obviously you never know because Jacob Duffy again can get into a situation wherein he starts bowling no balls or full tosses. So he still went for 58 runs, 2 wickets in 4 overs. So he could have gone for more. Same with Bhuvneshwar Kumar or Abhinandan Singh, who is a little less experienced. Surya Sharma again, he didn't actually bowl to Shivam Dube. It could have been a disaster as well. So you never know. So I personally felt that that catch of Shivam Dube by Jitesh Sharma came out of nowhere, and that was for me the best moment of the match. Yeah, Hari, what about you? The best moment?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of best moments, obviously none from my team. Oh, yes, just a banter there. There were a couple of good moments in there, but I think one of the key moments in the game was obviously we saw in the first innings how the spinner was getting hit. So Noor Ahmed, he can be economical, but again, he got hit in the Chinnaswamy, which is expected. But coming back to your point in Suyash, so I've got his stats up. He's only conceded 21 runs in 4 overs.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, I think that definitely changed the game for me because as obviously the two spinners, RCB have got, Krunal and Suyash, and that's where CSK should have been. They should have utilized that 8 overs, which could have changed the course of the game. But given that 4 of those overs went for only an economy of 5, I felt CSK rightfully lost by 43 runs. Again, bit surprised they got to that much. But again, they should have hit Suyash because Suyash, he can bowl it quick, and he does bowl it quick. So you can use the pace, and given how fast the outfield is, you can just tap it. But I didn't see any of that from CSK's batters. They were just trying to play him out. And they were being a bit defensive as well against Suyash. Whereas against Krunal, they were going attacking. But I would, in reality, expect the opposite because I feel Krunal is a better bowler than Suyash. But, given Suyash knows the wicket, I felt he's done really well. So I felt his bowling performance definitely changed things for me.
I think it's again Shivam Dube's wicket. It comes down to that only because Krunal Pandya came into the 6th or 7th over after the power play. 7th over, yes. So again, Shivam Dube was already on the crease by that time. But when actually Suyash started, Shivam Dube I think went back into the pavilion if I'm not wrong. So yeah, he didn't face Dube much, Suyash Sharma. So that was again the turning point. What about you? And the best moment rather. So yeah, Aniket, what about you?
I think I would agree with you on the point of like Shivam Dube because CSK's like innings, like the first 10 overs, it was very sort of they were going at 10 and over, but they had already like lost 4 or 5 wickets by the 10 over mark. And the first sort of major like blow that was right after when Sarfaraz got stumped, Kunal came in. And you'd think that after that, like CSK would probably slow down 2 to 3 overs, they would consolidate and then like sort of go hard. But considering that they still went for it, showed that Shivam Dube ended up being like a really massive wicket in that game as he had started off. I think he got out for 17 of 10, if I'm not wrong.
18 of 13. Actually, he hit a 6 on the first ball itself of Krunal Pandya.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have covered the match itself, the best moments, the turning points, everything. We'll be covering the same every week, every Sunday, hopefully. The Sunday's matches would be the one that would be on our radar. So keep following, keep loving, and yeah, keep sharing as well. Thank you.